Well, hello, guys and gals, and I'm hoping we're back to a hybrid model this week because we've been home for too long. So we are on lesson 10. This is in module 3, and you're writing and interpreting inequality statements involving rational numbers. Just saying that makes me sound a little bit smarter. So the opening exercise. Oh, and you probably noticed that in lesson 10, when I opened my math book, I'm looking at a sprint, an A sprint and a B sprint. So what I would do is I would set a timer for, I would probably do 2 minutes, and I would see how well I do on sprint A. Then I would take a break, go get some water. Then I'd come back and do sprint B. And this is where you're organizing the numbers that they have in the boxes. The numbers are written below, and then you're organizing them to make the inequality statement true. Anyway, kind of fun, and I hope you enjoy, and maybe you're going to be even doing that in class, unless, depending on what day this falls on. So let's see, A people are in class, B people are at home. So the opening exercise, the amount of money I have in my pocket is less than $5, but greater than 4. So now what we're looking at is what is a possibility. So I'm going to click on my pen here. One possible, so it's got to be, I'm going to write to the side. It's for, I'm going to actually do B. It says an inequality. So I've got $4, right? And it says whatever the number is, it's greater than $4, but it says it's less than 5. So here's my $5. And so I've got some number in here. I'm just going to put my other, okay, so one possible value, well, 4, 5, I mean, it could be 425, 401, any of those could be options, right? So one possible, I'm going to put $4.75. Okay, but that is not the only answer. That's a dollar sign. Okay, write an inequality statement comparing the possible value of the money in my pocket, right here, to the $4. So I actually don't need this part over here. So if I had my $4.75, that is greater than the $4. Got it. Write an inequality statement comparing the possible value of the money in my pocket to $5. So therefore, I have my $4.75 is less than $5. Okay. Then on the bottom portion, I'll enlarge that just a little bit. Graph your answer from the opening, what we just did, on the number line below. Okay, so what they're asking me to do is if I have, I'm going to put right here, here's my $4, right? And I'm going to have my $5 way up here. And so if I have, okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, nope, that's too much. So 4, 10, 4, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this would be 450, 4, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yep, so they're divisible by increments of a dime, right? 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70. So right here is my 475. It's right between 470 and 480. Okay, so that one I just did. Also graph the points associated with 4, done, and 5, boom, done. Just checking that off. Explain in words how the location of the three numbers on the number line supports the inequality statements you wrote up above in that opening exercise. So the numbers are ordered. I'm going to say ordered from least to greatest as far as the value. Okay? So 4 is less than 475, and 475 is less than 5. Okay, so let's go over to example B. or no, example one, A and B, writing inequality statements involving rational numbers. Write one inequality statement to show the relationship among the following shoe sizes, 10 and a half, 8, and 9. So I've got to go from least to greatest. Can you hear Charlie in the background? Okay, so the smallest is 8, and that is less than 9, and that is less than 10 and a half, okay? So then it says, so this is where I always have to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. This is the greatest, so I'm going to go 10 and a half is greater than 9, which is greater than 8. So the symbols have to reverse too, depending on what my numbers are. So then on example 2, it says Mary's comparing the rainfall totals for May, June, and July. The data is reflected in this table. Fill in the blanks below to create inequality statements that compare the changes in total rainfall, right here, for each month. Okay, so fill in the blanks before. Okay, I see the blanks right below. So write one inequality to order the changes in total rainfall from least. So I'm looking at this column. From least to greatest means that I have negative 1 and 4/10, and then that is less than 3/10, and that is less than 5/10. Okay, now I have to go the biggest, the greatest, the largest value to the smallest. So 5/10 is greater than 3/10 is greater than negative 1 and 4/10. Okay, so this is okay. In this case, does the greatest number indicate the greatest change in rainfall? Well, I don't think so. The greatest change is, let's see, the greatest change, see, like when I look at these two numbers, 3/10 of a change is not that much. 5/10 is not that much. May has the greatest change from 2 and 3/10 moving to 3 and 7/10. They're comparing the year in rainfall. Like if we looked up rainfall in Forks, it has probably pretty high numbers. The greatest number in the inequality statement is 5/10, but the greatest total rainfall change is negative 1 and 4/10. So I'm going to say the greatest change is negative 1 and 4/10, right, in May. But then they're saying the greatest number in the equality. So then I'll go down here. The greatest number equals that 5/10. So that's a difference between those two. Okay, let's go to the next page and see what we have. It says, Mark's favorite football team lost yards in 2 back-to-back plays. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. They lost 3 yards on the first play. So let me go like this. They lost 3 yards in the first play. They lost 1 yard in the second play, right, in inequality. So on a number line, if I have -3, -1, here's -2, here's 0, which one, it says, how would I compare those? Which one is of less value? -1 is closer to 0, so that one has the bigger value, and sometimes thinking about negative numbers is confusing. Next one says Sierra had to pay the school for 2 textbooks that she lost. One book was $55, the other cost $75. Her mom wrote 2 separate checks for each expense. Write 2 integers that represent the change to her mother's checking account balance. Then write an inequality statement that shows the relationship between these 2 numbers. Okay, so we know that if you write a check for something, it's going to take that amount of money out of your account, And so a check for $55, a check for $75 is going to take away $55 and $75. And so on that number line, if here's 0 and here's -75, here's -55, I know that those numbers in the negative get smaller as I get closer to 0. So therefore, -55 is a lesser value than -75. I would rather have -55 taken from my account than -75. Less money reduced from my account. Okay. Then Jason ordered the numbers -70, -18, and -18.5, or 5/10, from least to greatest by writing this statement. -18 is less than -18, and 5/10 is less than -70. So is this true or false? So when I do my number line, I know that -70 actually is going to be way out here. And then closer to 0, I know I'm going to have -18.5, and then I'm going to have -18. So I would say that he is incorrect. I think that, so I'm going to say false. And I think I have to write my -70 is, and actually I could turn it around. My -70 is less than my -18 and 5/10, which is less than -18. So that is what the order needs to be. And I always kind of like sketch it out on a number line just to kind of double check myself. Write a real world situation that's represented with the following inequality. -19 is less than 40. So here's my number line. I know that 40 is going to be way up here on this side, the positive side, and I know -19 is over here on the negative side. My 0 is the midpoint. So I have to come up with a real world situation. What if we said something about temperature? If we said January temperatures dropped to -19 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. And then what if we said the warmest I'll say temperature in January was 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a 0. That's a degree sign. Okay. Do I have to... Then, I mean, a story problem. The real world is that I've got -9 degrees Fahrenheit and I've got 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I could write a story problem about what was the change in temperature from the lowest to the highest temperature for the month of January. But I'm in a problem 9. And it says, look at the following 2 examples from the sprint. So that's what you did right before you started this lesson 10. You did the sprint. Fill in the numbers in the correct order. Well, I know that I'm going to have, if I have my number line, and here's my 0, and then I've got -1/4, and then here comes my -1. Here's my -1, -1/4, 1/4, and here's my 0. And then, so 0 is the largest valued number, which is funny to say. Then this one, so I'm going to have 0 here. 0 is greater than -1/4, which is greater than -1. Explain how the position of the numbers on the number line supports the inequality statements that you created. Well, the -1 is the farthest left. Farthest left on the number line. So it has the least value, which has the least value. Okay, 0 is the farthest, 0 is the farthest right, which means it has the greatest value, which is so funny. That's in the top one, and then it reverses below. Create a new pair of greater than and less than inequality statements using 3 other rational numbers. So I could go in and I could go to my sprint and I could grab any numbers off there. I can just write down 0 or 8 is greater than 5/10, which is greater than, let's throw in a negative number, -1 and 8/10. Now I can reverse that. I can go -1 and 8/10 is less than 5/10, which is half, which is less than 8. I always have to say them, and sometimes I have to draw them out. So we're done with the practice problems. Then I would say make sure you did that sprint. Then make sure you've done some more practice. And then I would probably work on my problem set and then do the exit ticket. Well done.